Welcome everybody to Google Cloud Innovators in Telecommunications. And this is where we're really talking about how we're helping bring to bear the AI-driven telecom. And I have with me today, Hisham Fahmy. Hisham, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, pleasure, Brian. Yes, my name's Hisham Fahmy. I'm the CIO at TELUS Communications.
That's awesome. Thanks for sitting down. And we've talked before, we talked like democratization of data, and it was really almost the initial phases of some of the AI work, and it's been moving pretty quick. What are some of the trends kind of a year later as we sit down that you're seeing in the marketplace?
That's a great question. It's generative AI, and you look at where LLMs have advanced and how it's mind-boggling, right? The pace of change. And what I'm seeing right now is like two very interesting trends that are happening. If you look at the foundational LLM models, the capabilities, whether it's multimodality, and you just see now like how they can handle everything. It's not just about text, but it's text, it's video, it's imaging, and then the response times that they come back, like the speed of response, and then add into it now the token sizes and these models, what they can take. It's pretty mind-boggling what that unlocks in terms of possibilities, because now you're getting into a possibility in a realm where LLMs can be used for real-time interactions. That used to be something that wasn't possible before. It was always text-based, there was always a bit of delay. Now you're getting it where it's instantaneous, and these token windows are so large that you can have multi-turn transactions and multi-turn interactions that all of a sudden it feels like you are talking and interacting with a human, and across, again, these multimodalities. And I think that's really where and a huge amount of potential is going to get unlocked. And I think the other trend too that you're seeing too is, you see these models get bigger and bigger in terms of capabilities, but now you're also starting seeing some very customized models being built, right? And even you look at Gemini, you've got Gemini Nano, Gemini Flash. And so that's another interesting thing too. It's like you're seeing all these different possibilities open now of how LLMs can be embedded in so many different use cases, where I think a year ago, it was very much the bot. It was very much the bot, do a chat bot, wait a little bit. And I think that's really what's changed, in the last, call it a year since we last spoke.
Well, and I think, so it's not just a chatbot anymore. It is that multimodal aspect and able to handle things in real time. What kind of problems do you now see, or challenges that you have that you can now address that you maybe couldn't have before?
Yeah, so we've always looked at, remember we talked about democratizing the AI, and the view was, how do we put it in the hands of every single team member at TELUS? And really what we're trying to drive there is, how does everybody look at that as a personal assistant for them? And it unleashes and unlocks their productivity. And so now we look at how it does is, okay, how do we actually create tools now that get into so many different of our team members' hands? And so we see now a lot of them live. So we have all our field techs. So the techs that go and service all our equipment, whether it's the cell towers and base stations and everything, they now have embedded in Google Chat. So it's not even an application they need on their phone or anything. It's a Google Chat agent that they do. But they can go now and go to any site, and it's something they don't know the equipment. They can now query it. They can take a picture of the equipment and tell it and say, walk me through what I need to do and how I need to solve and triage it.
So I can use multimodal now out in the field, and that really improves the intelligence of your field agents, and you can have specialists back wherever, remote, to help distribute that knowledge across a huge number of people.
Exactly. And so that's just one use case, but there's so many of them now where we have so many disciplines and so many functions of all our knowledge workers where this is just unlocking a lot of productivity.
And the knowledge worker is truly now a more informed knowledge worker.
100%.
You can't beat that.
No, and it also levels the playing field. I think we talked about this last year too, of how it can level the playing field. If you think about knowledge workers, one of the biggest problems you have is like your tenure in a company or how there's tribal knowledge that builds up. Now it's saying, okay, but if everybody has the same agent that has the same body of knowledge, you leveled up everybody, that everybody has access now to the exact same knowledge base and is able to interact with it, to query with it in the same fashion. Right? So.
It's an incredible, it's not a training tool, but it is almost. So what are some of the areas of success now? Because as you just stated, in 6 months, it's changed dramatically. What are those areas of success, and do you have any metrics that you've identified where it's like, hey, this is a success?
Where do I start? Because we had a lot of them. I'm really, really proud of what we've done at TELUS, right? And we've really leaned into it, especially the generative AI. So maybe I'll give just a couple of small examples, and then you'll see the common thread that we look for success.
Great.
And so I'll start from inward focusing, outward focusing to customers. So inward focusing, we have a general purpose agent that all team members can use, and you can query anything about TELUS. So then again, day to day, how do I get access to something? How do I do something? How do I get knowledge about how things work at TELUS? And we're seeing that being used by 35,000 team members,
Wow.
and they're saying it's saving them an average of 40 minutes in the work.
Can I
So
calculate that?
you can.
That's
It's
a
a lot
lot.
of money, right? That's a
That's a
lot
lot.
and that's productivity that was unlocked. You go one level higher, we have an internal IT assistant bot. So if you think of like team members now, how do I get access to a certain system? How do I reset my password? That's another personal assistant that's in there. And again, engagement been huge on that, and containment rates, over 70%.
Wow.
You go one level higher, and we have, like I said, our field techs, and they're using this as an agent out in the field. And so you've got a 75% adoption or higher in terms of all the field techs using it, and 40% of all their tasks have now been automated into this Gen AI agent.
Your adoption rates are incredible. Then.
That's the thing. So you go to the metric. That's one of the metrics to look at is the adoption rates, and
Yeah.
then maybe the last one go highest level, customer facing. If you go to TELUS.com right now, our online support driven and generative AI, and again what we're seeing there from customers themselves using it, the adoption rate and containment rates are way more than we expected coming out from it. And so you can see now how we've all the different levels we've been using it, and at the end of the day what we really see is its adoption rate. It's in adoption, it's not one-time adoption, but continued adoption, because that means you've bought into it and it's a tool that you're using many times.
It's mainstream at that point.
Exactly.
It's part. If you're not using it, it's not part of your process, and it sounds like it really is.
Exactly.
That's tremendous. So, when you kind of look at that partnership that we have, and you mentioned some of Gemini and the different versions, and how do you view that partnership that we have, and when you peel back architecturally, how do you think about things?
Yeah, I mean, this partnership's been, we're near 4 or 5 of our strategic partnership. It's been growing together. It's been a big key to our success. And if you look at when we built our Gen AI, because we wanted to democratize it, we had to build a layer on top that sort of made it accessible to all. So this is our Fuel iX platform that we call. That's the internal label we gave to it. And that really just kind of abstracted out and created an easy interface that any team member can go and use, and it kind of gave you access to the various LLMs that you have with the safety filters, the single sign-on, and so that was kind of our core piece. And then underlying it now was the actual LLMs and infrastructure. But all of that has been built on GCP, parts of it all running in GK in terms of the compute side of that enablement layer. And then underneath the covers, when it gets into the LLM piece, I mean, we're using all different variants of Gemini across the board for all those models. And so it's been, the whole Google stack has been a big part of this solution for us.
And it's really continues to evolve, and the use cases continue to come. But what is there an end in sight for the use cases? I think you guys had a kind of internally a way to really consume this unlike any others, and you're showing that through adoption. But tell us a little bit more about how your company, how you're setting it up for your company to adopt, because usually humans are the roadblock. Right. And it sounds like you've solved that problem.
Yeah, so the way we've solved it is the use cases shouldn't come top down. So that's the first principle, right? That we said, like they can't come top down. And then the second principle is how do we, again, back to that, democratize the Gen AI. So what we just said is, okay, the two principles is we're not going to dictate use cases. Maybe there's a couple big bets we'll do, but those are off to the side. But everything else, we want it to be just crowdsourced. And we want to see what ideas come up. But to make that stick, we want every corner of our company using it. So then the second principle comes in, which is now how do we make lowest barrier of entry to access it? So this is where it came, where we had what we call the Fuel iX coming in. And essentially now it's on every team member's workstation, phone, everything. And it's one click away to go and interact with it. And then we've enabled all the capabilities, the multimodal part of it. So it can be document uploads, RAG use cases, image generation. And now what's happened is everybody's able to play around with it. And you see now every knowledge worker coming up with their own use cases. So finance are coming out with them, legal are coming out with their own, developers are coming on, and they're the ones who are germinating these really interesting use cases. And then all we need to do is just nurture it and let it grow.
So I think it proves there's no special incentives there.
No. That's you're not forcing. That's it. When it comes top down, you're trying to dictate, you're trying to drive adoption.
People are actually reaching in and grabbing it, and you've created it and presented it out in such a simple fashion that it is accessible, and they now want to do that.
Correct.
That's a huge leap forward.
Yep.
Technology can be there, but adoption is key.
Yeah.
All right, so Hisham, if we think about 2 years from now, we're going to have another conversation. We'll have one before that, I promise you. But in 2 years from now, where do you think TELUS will be with that kind of environment? Where does it go?
Brian, gotta be honest with you. I look at how fast things are changing now. There's no way I can predict 2 years from now, right? Like if you just look at all we're talking about Gemini 1.5 and the 2 million tokens and everything, that only sprouted on us, what, 3-4 months ago? So I don't think anybody can predict 2 years out from now. Maybe the best I can do is 6 months out from now and where we're going to be. But I think at the end of the day, it's just going to be more and more adoption. I think what's definite and for certain is AI is here to stay. AI will transform every single job function we have. And AI is not going to take away our jobs. But what AI is going to do is going to make us very, very productive. And so the people who lean into AI and use it as an assistant will all of a sudden see a quantum leap in the sort of output that they can do and the impact that they can have. So that will be there 2 years from now. So maybe that's the forecast I'll make.
I think you're right. I mean, how can you see 2 years out? 6 months is even a long time. I know at Google Cloud Next, we had over 208 announcements just with us, and you have to track everything across the industry. You guys have done a fabulous job of creating that honeypot and getting the adoption.
I like how you call it honeypot.
It's a honeypot.
It's a good terminology.
People are coming to it.
Right.
That's magic. And we really appreciate the partnership and look forward to that next 6 months. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And that's it for now from Google Cloud Innovators in Telecommunications.